With only 2 races remaining in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour season, 3 drivers are battling at the top of the championship standings. John McKennedy has led the points since August and holds a slight 3-point advantage. His challengers are Ronnie Silk, a former series champion who is still winless this season, and Justin Bonsignor, who has launched his team into contention with 2 straight victories. Today, NASCAR invades Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park in Connecticut. It's the Phoenix Communications 150. And it's all part of World Series weekend here at the very beautiful Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. 5/8 mile high bank short track is where the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour will go to battle today for the penultimate race of the 2022 season. I'm Joe Koss alongside Pete Falcone. And Pete, a picture-perfect fall day for modified racing in New England.
Got to be the best weather we've had for a World Series race in a long time, and just the perfect one for this afternoon's running of the Phoenix Communications 150. Yeah, believe me, the audience is amped up, and we're ready to go.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup for today's Phoenix Communications 150. Rolling off the grid in the 24th position, it's the Last Minute Racing Modified from East Haven, Connecticut, Walt Sutcliffe Jr. He will line up alongside car number 27 from Ronkonkoma, New York, the Lakeland Landscape Supply Machine, starting 23rd for Gary McDonald.
Next up is the 22nd starting spot for the 01, the Pine Knoll Auto Sales entry for Melissa Fifield from Wakefield, New Hampshire. And 21st goes to the 26th, the Lakeland Landscape Supply. It's car of Eddie Brunhosel.
Starting 20th, the Bowie One Seafood and Restaurant number 18 from Calverton, New York. It is Ken Hagee. To his inside, the Red Camel Racing, John's Fuel and John Tree Removal. Number 34 from Holtzville, New York, J.B. Fortin.
To the 18th starting spot, the Eastport Feeds entry for car number 15, Kyle Soper from Manorville, New York. And starting alongside in the 17th position, the Middlesex Interiors entry for John McKennedy from Chelmsford, Mass., number 79.
Rolling off in 16th, he was the winner at New Hampshire Motor Speedway earlier this season, driving the Nocella Paving K&D Associates Air Gas number 92 from Woburn, Massachusetts, Anthony Nocella. To his inside, driving the Zapienza Enterprises number 36 from Riverhead, New York, Dave Zapienza.
On the 14th starting spot for the number 32, the Northeast Drilling Musco Lighting entry for Tyler Ripkema from Owego, New York. And 13th is one of the drivers in the hunt for the championship, 4th in the standings coming into this weekend, the GAF Roofing number 58 for Eric Goodale from Riverhead, New York.
Returning to Whelen Modified Tour competition here this afternoon, driving the Harshaw Paving Olivia's Market number 44 from Franklin, Mass., a 5-time Thompson Speedway winner, Bobby Santos III. Starting 11th from Ontario, New York, in the FX Caprara, number 54, Tommy Catalano.
Now into the top 10, and in the 10th starting spot, the Chateau Performance MTT Munz Auto, number 22 for Kyle Bonsignor from Bayshore, New York. 9th starting spot goes to the leading rookie of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, the Luminaire Electric Andrew James Interior Dell Electric number 64 for Austin Beers from Northampton, Pennsylvania.
Rolling off the grid in the 8th position is one of the championship contenders and the hottest driver on the Whelen Modified Tour. He drives the Phoenix Communications Incorporated number 51 from Holtzville, New York, Justin Bonsignor. Starting alongside in the Stewart's Automotive 7 New York from Wolcott, Connecticut, the Jennerstown race winner from earlier this season, Mike Christopher Jr.
The 6th starting spot goes to Old Blue number 3, the Propane Plus ACG Island International entry from Berlin, Connecticut. It's Ryan Preece. And into the top 5, the 5th starting spot goes to the winner of the last 2 NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour races here at Thompson, the Horton Avenue Materials car, number 82 for Craig Lutz from Miller Place, New York.
On the outside of row number 2, is a 6-time Whelen Modified Tour champion back behind the wheel of the car that he owns, car number 10. It's the Mayhew Tools entry for Doug Kobe. Starting alongside in the Captain Pip Marina in Hideaway 07. From Orchard Park, New York, a 4-time series winner, Patrick Emmerling.
And let's meet the front row. Starting on the outside of the front row, the number 16, the Blue Mountain Machine and Future Homes entry for one of the championship contenders from Norwalk, Connecticut, Ron Silk. And our pole sitter this afternoon, setting the fast time in qualifying yesterday here at Thompson, the Empower Financial Advisory RB Enterprises entry number 50 for Ronnie Williams from Ellington, Connecticut.
So that is the starting lineup for today's Phoenix Communications 150 for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour here today at the Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. A lot of folks on hand here today for Phoenix Communications. Want to welcome Keegan Rydell, and wish you to get well in your recovery. Great to have you here at the racetrack here today. All the Phoenix Communications staff up in turn number 4, enjoying the action here as part of World Series race weekend. Race fans, what do you say we get these NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour drivers underway? We're going to need your help. We'll count down from 3, and the command to fire engines will be drivers start your engines. Race fans, are you ready? In 3, 2, 1, drivers! Like the sound and the roar, the thunder of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. A beautiful fall day. Leaves are changing colors. Beautiful sun shining down on this 5/8 mile racetrack. And this track that holds so much history in Northeast short track racing, especially when it comes to modified competition. And so much on the line here today with that championship battle that's ready to play out. John McKennedy, the 79, leading the championship standing since we last raced here in August. But he's got 2 contenders, Pete, that are right with him in the form of Justin Bonsignor, who's a multi-time champion, and Ronnie Silk, who won the series championship back in 2011. They are right in the thick of a 3-car battle for the title this year.
Yeah, only 3 points back. So finishing position today, obviously very important before they go to the final race of the 2022 season at Martinsville. And of course, a dark horse, Eric Goodale, who comes into the weekend in the 4th spot of the standings, only 22 points back. A good run for him today could make a big difference.
He's had a great season, was a runner-up when we came here last time in August. Could be a driver to keep an eye on as the race goes on. Field begins to roll. Talk about the tradition of modified racing for this racetrack. Goes back to 1985 when the series ran its first event, won here, and that was won by NASCAR Hall of Famer Richie Evans. This track so steeped in history, even hosted 3 NASCAR Cup Series events with the likes of David Pearson, Richard Petty racing here at this racetrack, and it has always been a crown jewel of modified racing as part of now the 60th running of the Sunoco World Series of Speedway Racing, where cars come from every single direction throughout New England. Hundreds of cars that have descended upon this racetrack over the past 3 days.
Yeah, we've seen 3 days of great racing as the field follows the pace cars through the 3rd and 4th turn. Racing with Jesus Ministries, also the Sunoco Race Fuels pace car, and the official Thompson Speedway pace car, bringing them on by.
Saw a little bit of smoke coming out the left side of the pole sitter's car for Ronnie Williams as they work down the back straightaway, so we'll keep an eye on that to make sure that doesn't develop for the current pole sitter in Ronnie Williams. While we talk about that, here is a look how they will go to the green flag for the Phoenix Communications 150. Ronnie Williams did win the Mayhew Tools Pole Award. It was his 4th of the career. Championship contender Ronnie Silk starts on the outside of row number 1 with 5 Thompson victories to his credit. Doug Kobe will start 4th, driving the car that he owns as Mike Christopher Jr. steps back into the 7 New York. He'll roll off in 7th today, and Justin Bonsignor will start in the 8th position. Outside the top 10, Tommy Catalano will roll off 11th. Champion Bobby Santos alongside the 44. But the story of the weekend so far has been the struggles of the championship point leader, John McKennedy, qualified deep in the field. He'll start 17th here this afternoon alongside Kyle Soper, who is the recently crowned 4-time champion at Riverhead Raceway in their track division. Rounding out the lineup today, Eddie Brunholzl III, Melissa Fifield, Gary McDonald, and Walt Sutcliffe. Take a look at the race analysis for today's event. It's the 150th running of the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour here at Thompson Speedway. A high banked 5/8 mile track, 12 degrees of banking in the turns. The teams will have 4 tires that they can change on pit road. The weather here this afternoon, 59 degrees in a typical fall New England afternoon in front of a packed grandstand here in the quiet corner of Connecticut. Field picking up some speed here under these caution laps as they come across the line this time by. We'll get the 1 to go signal before we go under the green flag. 150 laps, and the pole sitter, Ronnie Williams, has chosen the outside lane in that 50 car for the start of the event, which is the preferred line usually on restarts here at Thompson.
Ronnie Williams already won a race this weekend as part of the 60th Sunoco World Series here at Thompson. So he's had a little more experience running in a couple of the other modified divisions this weekend. So we'll see what he can do when the green flag drops just moments from now.
About ready to get underway as the field rolls into turns 3 and 4. Phoenix Communications 150 about ready to see the green flag. Ronnie Williams in the 50 to the outside lane, a part-time runner on the tour. Won the Mayhew Tools pole and is about ready to bring the field down the front straightaway where the green flag flies, and we are underway here in Thompson.
Sailing down into turn 1. Williams gets the jump from that pole position and will lead him down the backstretch. Here's Doug Kobe with a move up on the outside.
He moves into second. Ryan Priest driving the number 3 car here this afternoon. He will dive to the outside lane as well. Slide into that 3rd spot as Ronnie Silk in the 16 battling on the bottom lane of the racetrack, trying to pick up speed as many of the contenders decide to go to the top lane here on the first lap.
Yeah, the fastest lane right now as they're freight training down the backstretch, that outside line. Silk looking to get back in line with these other guys.
He hasn't found it yet, as filling in the gap is Justin Bonsignor to go by. Here comes Kyle Bonsignor, that's Justin's cousin, directly behind. And Silk still clawing away at the inside lane of the racetrack as Greg Lutz pulls to his outside.
Best opportunity for him to get back in line is right now. He does in front of Patrick Everett. Get right behind Lutz in the freight train of modifieds out of turn 4.
They are all following the race leader, Ronnie Williams, at the point. He looks in the rearview mirror, and Doug Kobe is there. He's challenging. Kobe drops down on the back straightaway into turn number 3, looks to the inside and sweeps up in front of Ronnie Williams to take over the top spot.
Gets back to the point, gets in front. Our new leader here early in the race, Doug Kobe. A lot of success here at Thompson. Certainly knows his way around, and now he's in the lead.
The drivers told us that they wanted to be aggressive in the first 10 laps or so to position themselves for a first half run in this event, and that's why you see Kobe darting to the front early. We see the same thing out of Ryan Priest, who's putting the heat on the back bumper of Ronnie Williams. Both of those drivers won preliminary events here at this racetrack. A couple of days ago, it was Ronnie Williams. He won an event. 1 day ago, Ryan Priest won his event in preparation for today's NASCAR Modified Tour race.
Yeah, in different cars, but gaining tons of experience on how to get around Thompson and the way this track is for this weekend. So favor to Ronnie Williams and to Ryan Priest for both of their strong runs.
Priest, a former track champion here at Thompson Speedway in the SK Sunoco Modified division. He rides 3rd in car number 3, still trying to make that inside lane work underneath Ronnie Williams, but hasn't been able to make it work so far.
Kobe trying to get a little breathing room as he heads out of turn 2 down the backstretch again. There's Priest, took a peek down on the low side underneath Ronnie Williams. going to make a move. Until now, he'll try it again, but the momentum that Williams has up higher carries him down the front stretch.
A lot of drivers are keeping an eye on what Craig Lutz has done in the last couple of times. He drives the number 82 car, and he has won the last 2 races here at this racetrack, and he ran the top when he won here in August. And a lot of drivers and teams thought if they can get their car to work in the top groove, that they would be successful here today and trying to mimic what was done the last time we raced here.
The top 3 have kind of broken out into their own little thing going on. Kobe with a comfortable lead. Ronnie Williams in second. And Priest keeps taking a peek down to the bottom. He'll carry the momentum to pull up alongside.
Back onto the main straightaway. Priest will continue to work now the middle groove of the racetrack. You go a little bit further back, you pick up the battle between 2 drivers that got their first win of the Tour this year. That'd be the 15 of Kyle Soper as Priest completes the pass down to the turn 3. And the 92 of Anthony Nocella just a moment ago. Those 2 drivers battling a little bit deeper in the field.
Priest can now show what he's got in that old blue number 3 as he gets around Ronnie Williams. Going to give chase to Doug Kobe, who's opened it up by about 6 car lengths on the backstretch.
For many years, Kobe was the dominant driver here at this racetrack. A lot of success for a period of time where he was nearly untouchable. Then Justin Bonsignor became the next driver that was tough to beat. As we've got a problem off turn number 4, Tommy Catalano has spun along with Eddie Brunholzl. The third is in the middle of that. Actually, correction, that is the 79, the championship point leader, John McKennedy, involved. Doesn't look like McKennedy had any damage as this car rolls down into turn 1. Looked like he just stopped shy of the incident. But Tommy Catalano in the 54 was one of the cars involved as the first caution comes out here on lap number 12.
A little bit of a frustrating weekend for John McKennedy as he had hoped to qualify better than he did, and you can see from his starting position back in 17th, he's got some real estate to cover to get to the front and maintain his lead in the point standings once we get out of Thompson today, but it's early in the race.
Before that incident took place, he was started 17th to John McKennedy. He slid back to 18th, and then he got caught up deeper in the field. There is a look at the 54 car of Tommy Catalano, who's really started off with a very strong season. And they said yesterday that they are going back to the basics on setup. They are a family-owned operation, work very closely together, and they spend a lot of time researching different setups, different racetracks that would find the right combination for the particular event that they're running next. And they said, you know what, we're not going to try to mix and match setups like we did early in the season. We're going to go back to a baseline setup and see if that gets us back to the speed and success that we had earlier this season.
We end up with a couple of cars on pit road. Anthony Nocella decides to take a quick shot onto pit road for a little bit of an adjustment and work on the right rear of Ken Hagee's number 18.
Nocella leaving pit lane. Hagee's still getting work done on his team. They have the car jacked up, and now his car rolls away. So of the cars that were involved in the incident, none have come down pit road yet, meaning the Tommy Catalano 54 and the 79 of John McKennedy, who we're keeping an eye on. Pit road is open. We'll see if there's any takers here as the field rolls past the entrance of pit road. So up front is Doug Kobe in the 10 car. Ryan Priest to his inside when we get the 1 to go signal here at the line. Kobe will elect to restart on the outside lane. Everybody else double file behind him. So the lineup looks like this: Doug Kobe, Ryan Priest, Ronnie Williams runs third, the pole sitter. Justin Bonsignor and Kyle Bonsignor are fourth and fifth, followed by Craig Lutz. Ronnie Silk started second. Remember, he started on the inside lane of the track, and he slid back, fell back to seventh when he was trapped on the bottom. Patrick Emmerling, Bobby Santos, Mike Christopher Jr. That's your top 10 as we get set to go back under the green flag here in the Phoenix Communications 150. Your race leader is Doug Kobe in the 10 car to the outside. Down to the bottom, another series champion in the form of Ryan Priest, driving car number 3. He'll start to the bottom when we get back under the green flag. Pace car is in as they roll up off turn 4.
Waiting for the green flag, and there it is in the air. The drag race down into turn 1. This time Kobe gets a good shove from Justin Bonsignor. He's trying to get around Ryan Priest. Priest, but Priest hangs tough on the inside. Now Kobe is clear from on the backstretch.
Priest lost a little momentum at the exit of turn number 2. That's all Kobe needed. He slides up into second spot, does Priest. And in chase, in tow, the 51 of Justin Bonsignore is there, but he's got new company in the form of Craig Lutz in the 82 right behind him in fourth.
Yeah, we'd have to say that Craig Lutz has probably figured this place out. He is the most recent winner from the race in August here at Thompson, and the last winner before the modified tour came back here to Thompson in August. So 2 in a row, looking for 3 here this afternoon.
The series did race here in 2021, so Craig Lutz spanned that victory back to 2020. It's the last time somebody else won a race here other than Craig Lutz.
Justin Bonsignore, but he settles in to follow him down the front stretch. That is the race for third. Meanwhile, Kobe is checked out again as he did in the early stages of the race.
Go a bit deeper back, you can see that battle there that's taking place. We saw the 50 car of Ronnie Williams. He was a pole sitter. His car has slid back, and there's the 79 of John McKennedy, who's trying to make the inside lane work. He's been able to move up a couple of spots. He's 15th right now, goes into turn number 1. He's battling with Eric Goodale in the 58, who is the 4th place car in the championship battles. Had a great season as well. McKennedy already working that inside lane. One of the first cars to go down there and try to see if he can gain some ground.
And it hasn't really worked that well in the early stages of the race. And of course, you use the car up a little bit more, keeping it down there on the low side. But it's all about gaining spots for him, and he's going to try everything he can.
Catalano now has momentum off turn number 2 in the 54. He challenges John McKennedy to the outside lane. McKennedy and this team, they have struggled all weekend long. It was apparent through practice that they were frustrated. Qualified in 17th, and they knew it was going to be tough. They made some big changes coming into the race today, and so far, we haven't seen that car move forward.
And you know, John McKennedy, a multi-time winner in the super modified ranks, the supers were here this weekend. They brought his car, but they opted not to run it, is because he had to concentrate on this modified race.
He put a lot of effort into it, and he did miss that race just because of that. He's back in the Hornets' nest there. You see the 36 of Dave Zapienza, Eric Goodale, Tommy Catalano, and John McKennedy all on screen. Anthony Nocella starting to get into the mix.
Yeah, Nocella was on pit road just a few laps ago for a slight adjustment, and he's trying to work his way back up in the field.
Just ahead of them is a 32 car at Tyler Ripkema, who's a part-time runner this season. Runs a lighting business, who's in fact installing lights at one of the Olympic training facilities as part of his business. That's what's kept him away from racing, but he hopes to be able to run more in 2023. And every time he's showed up, he's been able to put good runs up on the board in that number 32 car.
Now he is in the thick of it out there, trying to gain positions. You see Catalano working on the bottom. He too trying to work it, but back right there is Catalano. And now Craig Lutz. We're on to Craig Lutz chasing Justin Bonsignore. That battle's been, he's actually kind of in a Bonsignore sandwich, if you will, as Kyle's right behind him in the 22.
That's a battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Justin Bonsignore has a 3rd spot with Craig Lutz and Kyle Bonsignore there as well. And Ronnie Silk holding on to 6th at the moment. Lutz putting the pressure on. He said that I want to be in a position where I can command the race. That worked really well for us when we won this race here in August. As Ronnie Silk now moves to the inside, trying to find a lane underneath Kyle Bonsignore. He'll try again in turn 1.
Now they race off of 2 down the backstretch, and a little bit of breathing room behind Kyle Bonsignore and Ronnie Silk. Silk able to make up the ground in the middle of the turn, but again, freight train of modifieds down the front stretch.
Just behind that battle is the 7 New York car of Mike Christopher Jr. He restarted 10th when we went back under the green flag. He's picked up a couple of spots, and he's moved into the 8th spot. So that 7 New York starting to come to life for Mike Christopher Jr.
Again, Silk with a peak down on the low side. Just can't carry the momentum into the turn to get him alongside Kyle Bonsignore.
There's Justin Bonsignore in the 51. Kyle Bonsignore looking to the outside lane to see if he can find room to the right of Craig Lutz. Lutz has had a lot of different crew chiefs with that team this season. They have rotated from one to the next as the year has gone by. And here is Mike Christopher Jr. working down to the inside of Patrick Emerling, who drives the 07. They are wheel to wheel as they come off turn 4.
Yeah, another guy that's had a lot of luck during this World Series weekend at Thompson. Mike Christopher, already with a win or two in other events here this weekend. So he's got plenty of track time coming into this one.
Won his first wheel modified tour event at the Jennerstown Speedway earlier this season. And you know, he's raced a lot of open tour type modified shows, but he doesn't have a ton of Whelen modified tour experience. He was won at this racetrack before as Mike Christopher. Some pretty good talent behind the wheel. Now that he got by Patrick Emerling, that'll leave Emerling to deal with the pole sitter, Ronnie Williams, in that 50 car working underneath. And Eric Goodale, who was back in the 16th, 17th position not too long ago, he's starting to challenge. He has moved into the top 10. He's picking up spots here on this green flag run.
Making the bottom work, or at least trying it anyway. Ronnie Williams and Patrick Emerling. All that's open on the outside. Eric Goodale will take a run on the outside of Ronnie Williams.
Emerling gets by to the outside of Williams. Goodale will follow in his tire tracks off the end of the front straightaway as Williams backpedaling here on the inside lane. Everybody working the top side and trying to see if they can bypass him. This is a battle for the 9th spot. Here comes Goodale to the outside, and he gets it done in turn 3.
He's able to, almost was able to clear Ronnie Williams, but Williams fought back, got a great run through the bottom at that point.
Back up to the battle for 3rd. Craig Lutz dives to the inside of Justin Bonsignor, now midway down the back straightaway. Bonsignor with a slight edge, but sweeping up in front in turn number 4. Craig Lutz completes the pass, and here comes Kyle Bonsignor to try to fill that gap to the bottom.
Yeah, Lutz carried some momentum into that turn and swept on by, and Kyle Bonsignor goes almost like trouble for the 51 as he's now passed by Ron Silk and by Mike Christopher Jr. So in just a lap, he's lost a handful of positions.
Christopher Jr. now working underneath Ronnie Silk in the 16 car, right behind Kyle Bonsignor. Craig Lutz able to get away and break free. Try to track down Doug Covey and Ryan Priest at the point of the field. There's Kyle Bonsignor, looks in the rearview mirror, and Ronnie Silk is there. Silk was one of those drivers among many in the field who got their first career victory here at this racetrack. Silk won his first 3 races here at Thompson and was a long time a favored driver every time you came to this racetrack. He knows how to get the job done here, and he knows how to battle that championship. But this team was feeling a lot of pressure coming into this race, knowing that they are right in the thick of the championship battle, knowing that this is a brand new team with a modified tour, and they want to come out of the box strong. And he is in it right now. In 16, 5th position, trying to pick up 4th underneath Kyle Bonsignor as they come back onto the main straightaway.
Yeah, trying to make it stick on the bottom, but Bonsignor carries the momentum through the turn and is able to just stay ahead of him. Silk again takes a peek to the bottom, but decides to follow him down the backstretch.
3rd, 4th, and 5th. Right behind, Mike Christopher Jr. has done a nice job to put himself in position in time for that caution, or most likely that pit stop, I should say, that'll take place halfway or later. That's when these drivers would like to come down and get those tires if they can. And you want to be in a good position inside the top 5 by the time that pit stop happens. And Mike Christopher Jr. only 1 spot away from the goal that he set at the start of the race.
Silk has been chipping away at it and now is able to clear. Kyle Bonsignor pick up the spot. He pulls up in front of him and leads him down the backstretch.
So now into 4th for Ronnie Silk. See if he can track down Craig Lutz. Smooth as silk is Ronnie Silk, cool under pressure. And he's going to need that here today, trying to get that first win of the season with this 16 team. Kyle Bonsignor is crew chief Cam McDermott, who's a track champion here in modified racing competition, knows this racetrack well, has a lot of the tricks of the trade. No surprise to see that 22 car running well as a result. Back up front, Doug Covey leading the way over Ryan Priest, and Ryan Priest has been slowly chipping away at that race lead, only about 4/10 of a second from Covey. Back to the 3 car of Ryan Priest. And as we watch Ryan Preece, he's been starting to run that low line a little bit more, searching as his car starts to free up a little bit, trying to see if there's an extra bit of speed down to the bottom. Work around the lap car of Walt Sutcliffe here on the front straightaway and put 47 laps of the Phoenix Communications 150 up on the scoreboard.
What a record Kobe has here. His 66th start at Thompson, 6 wins and 26 top 5s. Certainly knows his way around here.
That's been key to a lot of his championships here when there were so many races a year run at this track. Being good at Thompson was key. Same for Justin Bonsignore in his championships runs. But you can see the gap from first and second back to the third place machine of Craig Lutz, some 4 seconds behind the lead duo of Doug Kobe and Ryan Preece.
Yeah, you talked about Ryan Preece trying the inside, just not gaining on Kobe, but the race for third is heating up. Here comes the 16 of Ron Silk underneath Craig Lutz. While the doors open, Kyle Bonsignore will give it a try down on the bottom.
Bonsignore all the way down on the apron of that to get that car to turn, as Craig Lutz will lose 3 positions in 1 turn, and he slides now off the pace to the inside lane of the racetrack for Craig Lutz, and he continues to slow down the front straightaway.
Yeah, speaking of slow, Ryan Preece slow on the bottom of the racetrack going through the first and second turn. Looks like he's headed to pit road. That's a tough one for Preece with a strong run going on, totally off the pace.
He's got a right front tire down for Ryan Preece. Preece with a right front tire down on the 3 car, brings that car down pit lane. The race leaders flashing by, and Ryan Preece in old blue. Car number 3 on pit road with a right front down, and his crew will go to work.
Tough break there as he was mounting a challenge to go after Doug Kobe. But having him change that tire under green is going to mire him back a couple of laps.
Tough break for Ryan Preece and the entire team as he joins once again here as the season rolls on. Crew frantically trying to get that car jacked up, lifting that Nerf bar just to get the jack underneath it to see if they can fix that tire for Preece to get him back out, but certainly a costly mistake that'll take him out of contention here today.
Most definitely, and that to the favor of Doug Kobe. He's got about a straightaway lead now over Ron Silk, who runs third. Kyle Bonsignore in fourth as Preece gets a tire change and he's headed back out to the racetrack.
Also coming down pit road is the 82 of Craig Lutz. We saw a moment ago that he had fallen off the pace. He was running in the 3rd spot. He's won the last 2 races here at this racetrack, and now the 82 of Craig Lutz also on pit road, down to the attention of his crew. And they will go around to the rear of the car and take a look at the left rear and see exactly what is amiss on Craig Lutz's race car.
Another disappointing run for sure for Craig Lutz, as he will be stuck on the pit road for at least a couple of laps. So that's what's going to happen here at Thompson when you go into the pits under green.
That changes the complexion of the running order quite a bit. You had the 2nd place car, and he was 3rd right before the car broke for Craig Lutz. We see this battle now. Eric Goodale challenging to the outside of Kyle Bonsignore. He'll make the pass getting down into turn 3.
Yeah, he's been on a move the last 10 laps or so, Eric Goodale, and proving it right there as he gets around Kyle Bonsignore, continues to drive away, going after Ron Silk now on the backstretch.
Here they come down the back straightaway, coming into frame by Christopher Jr. into 7 New York. Silk now in 2nd. Eric Goodale, who might have one of the quickest cars on the racetrack. Goodale challenged from the back of the pack, charged up to the front, has had to work through traffic. He was mired deep in the field after that first green flag run. He started 13th. He had fallen back to as deep as 16th, and in just 59 laps has become a contender here. And he's got a long way to go to the front, but he's got a lot of time to get there. Here's Mike Christopher Jr. now around the outside of Kyle Bonsignore as he continues to give up spots.
Yeah, and Christopher Jr. makes a great move on the outside, and he'll now give chase to Goodale and Silk. Goodale has really closed in on Ron Silk just in front of that battle with Christopher Jr.
And Silk well off the pace getting down into turn 3 as well. So you see a lot of the drivers trying to either conserve their equipment and allow drivers like the 58 of Eric Goodale to go right on by. While that's all been happening, Doug Coby is starting to back the pace up a little bit. We talked about how Craig Lutz was 4 seconds behind Doug Coby. Eric Goodale now just 2.7 seconds behind. And Goodale is really on a charge here in the early stages of this one here in the midway stage of this race. And he is quickly starting to close that gap on the race leader, Doug Coby.
Yeah, he's not saving anything for sure. He's going for it. Coby, of course, as you said, maybe just easing up a little bit. Save some of that race car. Totally unpredictable when they might be able to get the pit road as Coby flashes around Craig Lutz once again. But Goodale cutting into it, if ever so slightly.
He's gained 0.3 of a second in the last 2 laps. But Doug Coby has that car on cruise control at the moment. There's Craig Lutz down to the bottom of the racetrack. He's back in 22nd position. 5 laps off the pace of the race leader. He's been on and off pit road twice, but you still see how quick that race car is. He's able to keep pace with the race leader, Doug Coby.
Craig Lutz back up to speed, but obviously lost a couple of laps on pit road. Coming back to try and get one of them back to get around Doug Coby.
It is interesting to see how Doug Coby and drivers like Ronnie Silk allowing Eric Goodale to try to close that gap and to run as quickly as he's running at the moment. Each team managing the race just a bit different, playing to their strategy. To see how it'll play out for each and every one of them. We look at that gap. The race lead is now down to 1.6 seconds from Doug Coby to Eric Goodale, who is just charging through the field.
Talk about the cars that decide to run a little lower each lap. Ron Silk has done that, come down a groove, and now he's under attack from Mike Christopher Jr. as they race out of turn 4.
The report from the pit area was that the 82 of Craig Lutz had a loose wheel. That's what brought him down pit road. Pick up that battle between Ron Silk and Mike Christopher Jr. It's the battle for 3rd and 4th. Christopher works the outside lane in the entrance of turn 3.
No chance to pull up alongside with this lap as they flash across the stripe. Silk continues to lead him, but again, Silk working a little bit lower than Mike Christopher. Christopher trying to carry that momentum out of the turn so he can pull alongside.
Silk continuing to protect the bottom. About a half a groove up that time through turns 3 and 4 for Christopher. His uncle, the great Ted Christopher, won 99 races here at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park, a number that still sits down to the victory lane here along the front straightaway. Christopher Jr. has won his fair share of events here at Thompson as well. He moves into 3rd.
Yeah, gets around Ron Silk. And now he will chase after Eric Goodale, who continues to click off some fast laps, running in 2nd. Goodale still closing on Doug Coby.
Now under a second. There is that battle for 3rd and 4th between Mike Christopher and Ronnie Silk. Up front, though, Doug Coby can look in the rearview mirror, and he sees Eric Goodale within striking distance. There's the gap. Coby driving his Mayhew Tools owned race car as an owner driver here today. And there you see the gap. They're on the same straightaway now. Eric Goodale is there, continuing to put the pressure on, continuing to close the gap. And we're not even halfway yet.
As you mentioned, Coby knows he's there. The question is whether Coby's going to get on it and try to use more of that car or accept the fact that Goodale will be there in a few laps.
They'll hit some lap traffic directly ahead. Coby continuing to sail that car around the outside lane down to 0.6 of a second now, and you can almost count it in car lengths. Goodale deep down into turn 3. Lutz is right there with him now. 6 car lengths between 1st and 2nd.
Flashing around some of the lap traffic there in the 1st and 2nd turn. The spread between 1st and 2nd closes up as Goodale dives on into the turn, and he picked up 2-3 car lengths just going into turn 3.
75 laps go up on the scoreboard of this Phoenix Communications 150. Halfway through, and the halfway bonus presented by Josh Deans will go to Doug Coby. And he looks in the rear view mirror and he sees that front bumper down to the inside. Here comes Eric Goodale off turn number 4.
Goodale on a tear is able to pull alongside Coby. Racing down again to some of the lap traffic. Walter Sutcliffe just in front. Kobe trying to hold him off. It's a drag race on the backstretch.
Kobe continuing to run the outside lane and stick to his game plan. Eric Goodale, though, his car has been good on the bottom, and that's where he's been gaining ground on Kobe. Walt Sutcliffe directly ahead. The race leaders, 2 by 2. They'll go 3 wide around Walt Sutcliffe in turn 1.
Goodale with a slight advantage as Kobe had to slide way up the racetrack. Now Goodale trying to clear him going into turn 3. Just barely does. Kobe trying to fight back. But Goodale too strong. He gets out in front of him here across the stripe. He is the new leader.
Out in front of the Phoenix Communications 150. Eric Goodale leads the way here in Thompson. Eric Goodale, the race leader, as they come up off turn number 4 here. Now 78 laps complete at Thompson Speedway, and he has gapped Doug Kobe already. He ran him down from a 13th place starting position and was able to take over the top spot. But what is the strategy here? Does Doug Kobe have something in mind that says we're going to take it easy, save the tires, save the equipment, and get to that pit stop and make sure that we've got a race car that's good at the end? We've been documenting some of the challenges that the 79 car of John McKennedy has had. And his car has come to life all of a sudden. He's up to the 7th position on the racetrack. He and Bobby Santos have been carving their way through the field as McKennedy begins to close in. And if there's a driver who's good at long green flag runs, John McKennedy is going to be one of them. He spent a lot of time racing in series where pit stops for tires was not an option. And he knows how to conserve an equipment. And a long green flag run like this could play to his favor for John McKennedy as he closes in on the back bumper of Bobby Santos. Again, the battle for 6th and 7th between Santos and McKennedy.
They're closing on Kyle Bonsignor in 5th place, too. Looks like they're going to gang up on him and try to pick up a position as Santos closing in on the 22 of Bonsignor and taking John McKennedy with him.
McKennedy has had a season where he hasn't practiced well. He hasn't necessarily qualified well, but when it comes to race time, they always seem to strike on it. And early on in this race, it didn't look like they had a very quick race car. But now as we go deeper into this run, 67 laps away from the finish, McKennedy's car starting to come in. And when you start comparing the other championship contenders, Ronnie Silk rides 4th. Justin Bonsignor and his team, his car has faded. He's all the way back in 12th. And at the pace that Eric Goodale is running, Bonsignor at the tail end of the field is on the same straightaway as Eric Goodale. Here's McKennedy to get underneath Santos and take over the 6th spot.
And McKennedy chipping away at it. He avoided disaster involved in that early caution with Catalano earlier. Luckily, no damage whatsoever to McKennedy's 79. And it's put him in a good spot here now as he's up to 6th.
He stayed out on track. The team thought that they might come down pit road early because they were starting so deep in the field, but the race didn't play out that way. And even though they were involved in the caution, McKennedy must have known that he had a car that was good for what he needed on the long run, and that is paying off for him right now as he is in the 6th position. Right ahead, Kyle Bonsignor is running a pretty clean race here as well in that 22 car. Will be the next car that John McKennedy tries to track down.
Well, since Eric Goodale has taken over the lead, he's got over a 2-second difference between himself and Doug Kobe running in 2nd. So Goodale with a good run going, and he's got some lap traffic between himself and Doug Kobe. There's Goodale across the stripe, and he continues to pad that lead. About 2.5 seconds ahead of Doug Kobe, who continues to ride in 2nd.
Now the race leader, Eric Goodale, in the 58, comes up off turn number 4. Mentioned it a moment ago. He's only a half a straightaway behind the 51 of Justin Bonsignor, who rides in the 12th spot. Bonsignor, the hottest driver in the modified series, coming in here, 2 straight victories at Oswego, New York, at his home track at Riverhead. Had all the momentum in the world, and he comes back. And now Eric Goodale, the race leader in the 58, is quickly closing in on the 51 of Justin Bonsignor. Only about 10, maybe 15 car lengths between those 2 race cars as they head into turn 3. There's Bonsignor in turn 3, and there is the race leader, Eric Goodale, right in his rearview mirror.
Yeah, Goodale trying to dispatch Dave Sapienza, who's right in front of him. And once he gets around that 36, he'll set his sights on the 51 of Bonsignor.
You got to imagine that if and when Eric Goodale catches Justin Bonsignor, he is going to put up a fight, because he cannot afford to lose a lap at this point in the race if he wants to have a chance to go up there and go into Martinsville with a healthy point total and a chance to run for the championship. There's Bonsignor in the 51, tail end of the lead lap, and Eric Goodale closing in some more as they hit turn 3.
He's been on a tear. Goodale not giving it up at all, and is getting within striking distance of Bonsignor's 51.
Goodale will look high in turn 2. Justin Bonsignor protects the bottom, drifts up the racetrack here as they come down the back straightaway. But Goodale is there. He fills the gap to the outside lane, and Justin Bonsignor goes down a lap here, 93 laps into the event.
While those guys were battling, the battle for second is heating up between the 7 New York of Mike Christopher Jr. and the 10 of Doug Coby. They're running right together now going into turn 3 as we watch Eric Goodale continue to pull away.
Now for Justin Bonsignor and that team, one thing that'll help save their day is a caution sooner rather than later, with the hope of being able to get the free pass and be the first car one lap down. Craig Lutz is a couple of laps down. He'll go by the race leader Eric Goodale to the bottom. Lap traffic up ahead. So it'll be an interesting story to see how it plays out. Here's that battle for second. Mike Christopher Jr. in the 7 New York to the inside of Doug Coby, and he gets it done in turn 1.
Yeah, Christopher on a tear as he gets around the early leader Coby and starts to drive away. He's now in a solid second place.
So Christopher up to second. The gap to Eric Goodale is substantial. 4 seconds is the gap from Eric Goodale back to Mike Christopher Jr. and Doug Coby's car running on the bottom lane of the racetrack, trying to find any bit of grip that he can on the inside lane. Here's the race leader across the start-finish line, Eric Goodale. Lap traffic up ahead as he'll navigate through turns 1 and 2. There you see the 51 of Bonsignor a little bit further back. And here is a battle between the pole sitter, the 50 of Ronnie Williams, and Tommy Catalano. Williams, who slid back to the 15th spot after starting in the pole.
We got a lap to go until we hit the 100 lap mark and get it down to 50 to go. So this race has really moved along pretty quick.
So Eric Goodale now with 50 laps to go to see if he can hang on and manage his race. We've seen how quickly it has gone. Obviously, a very long green flag run here today. Has he conserved enough, both tires and possibly fuel, to be able to make it the entire way and have enough race car underneath him to be able to capture the checkered flag? You go further back, Mike Christopher Jr. That gap remains the same. 4 seconds back to the Tommy Baldwin race car. And we've talked plenty about the Drivers' Championship. This team, Tommy Baldwin Racing, closing in on the owner's title with the 3 drivers that have driven this race car: Jimmy Blewett, Doug Coby, and Mike Christopher, with all 3 of them earning victories this season. And they could be the owner's champion when we roll out of Martinsville. And Mike Christopher Jr., a big part of that this season, having a banner day here once again in this modified race car here, running second in a loose race car, as you saw the car dance coming up off turn number 4, and he's got his hands full in that 7 New York.
Still pushing it, though. He's put a fair amount of distance between himself and Doug Coby, who continues to run in third. Christopher right there. If for any reason Eric Goodale starts to fade, Goodale's got a straightaway lead on him. Christopher isn't backing off at all.
There is the 51 of Justin Bonsignor just coming through the frame there. You go a little bit deeper in the field. Ronnie Silk comes flying on through. He's running in the 4th spot at the moment. Kyle Bonsignor trying to pick up some ground. And John McKennedy, who's closed in on the back bumper of Bonsignor. Kyle Bonsignor, the 22. Seeing if he can pick up a couple of more spots and continue to gain ground, especially with Ronnie Silk just a couple of cars ahead He wants to finish ahead of Ronnie Silk if he wants to maintain that championship lead heading into Martinsville.
And he is right there as Kyle Bonsignor is working over Silk. McKennedy looking for something to open, hoping maybe that Bonsignor will go low and open up the bottom so that he can get around Ron Silk. And Bonsignor trying it right now in that 22. He gets under Silk and clears him. And again, while it's open, John McKennedy trying to get under there now too.
So Bonsignor on through. That'll move him into the 4th spot. And John McKennedy able to crack the top 5 and gets by Ronnie Silk, a very important pass in the championship picture. Silk now trying not to give up too much ground. Here comes Patrick Emmerling. He works to the bottom on the back straightaway.
Emmerling has come alive, as is Anthony Nocella. They both get underneath Ron Silk to pick up positions.
So Silk losing 3 spots here in the late going with 42 laps to go, with Emmerling, Nocella getting by, and most importantly, John McKennedy able to sneak on by, who runs in 5th at the moment. Here is that battle between Patrick Emmerling and Anthony Nocella in the number 92.
Nocella, who was on pit road early to make some adjustments, obviously turned the wrenches the right way as he's in the thick of it here with Emmerling as they race down into turn 1.
And what a big day it was for Anthony Nocella earlier this season in July when he won one of the other crown jewel events on the series schedule, and that was at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Picking up his first career Whelen Modified Tour win as a part-time runner. The number 92 has really turned the corner here in their program, and is a contender again today, rallied back up to the 7th spot.
Yeah, he was in the right place at the right time for sure in New Hampshire when the leaders in front of him tangled, and he took the right lane to get through it and pick up the win. Impressive.
Came out of the open wheel midget ranks here throughout the Northeast, and has made a nice name for himself and the entire Nocella family out of Woburn, Massachusetts, not too far from the Thompson Speedway here, just a few hours drive to the north. Tommy Catalano in the 54 after his troubles early. These machines bypassing him. Patrick Emmerling, who has thoroughly embraced his role as a NASCAR Xfinity Series car owner and competitor this season, has done a nice job in that 07 every time he has a chance to get driving his modified. And just there is the 16 car of Ronnie Silk, who has slid back to the 8th spot on track. And from that shot off turn 4, you can see how much steering wheel Ronnie Silk has to put in that 16 car as he is fighting it here on old tires.
Yeah, when you said had slid back in the running order, almost on cue, you can see him slide out of turn number 4, the back end kicking out on him ever so slightly. So there's one waiting for a caution flag to get in and get some service done. But there's 114 laps into this thing.
Bobby Santos there in the 44 car. Great to have him back on the Whelen Modified Tour, the Tinio family. His car, usually a car that when you get long green flag runs and you see somebody at the end, it's usually a Bobby Santos type driver in that 44. He's 9th right now. A strong run for this team. There's Craig Lutz, who continues to be fast on track, although several laps down. But what can you say about Bobby Santos? I mean, one of the most talented drivers. Won a sprint car race out at Anderson Speedway before rolling out here to Thompson to be able to race in his Whelen Modified Tour race car. In the 44 car, and another driver that picked up his first win here at this racetrack that we talked about earlier with Ronnie Silk. He did the same early in his Modified Tour. Back up front, Eric Goodale with 32 laps to go, leading the way here in the Phoenix Communications 150 in a healthy advantage. One car slowing off the pace. That appears to be the 50, the pole sitter. Ronnie Williams got high up off turn number 2, directly in front of the race leader. He's able to pick up pace again. We stay under the green flag, and Eric Goodale narrowly avoiding disaster on that one as he navigated his number 58 down to the inside. Yeah,
Ronnie Williams getting back up to speed, but obviously got out from under him and almost tagged the wall, but is able to keep going. It's another guy looking to put some rubber on that car and get the handles back.
But will it come? Can Eric Goodale hang on for another 30 laps with the original tires and go the whole way. Goodale, an unbelievable drive here today, will close in on the 10th place car, the 15 car of Kyle Soper. Soper in that 15 car recently crowned for the 4th time the Riverhead Raceway Modified Champion. And he will give way to the inside as Eric Goodale cruises around the top and leaves only 9 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, we talked about Goodale having a straightaway lead over Mike Christopher a little while ago. It's much better than a straightaway at this point. He just has not gotten off the pace at all and continues to push that 58 around.
Yeah, it's almost a 6-second advantage. 5.8 seconds the advantage for Eric Goodale. And Jason Shepard and this entire team have certainly put very, very good race car and equipment under Eric Goodale today. Look a little bit further back. Here is the gap. You see the entire field. Everybody out of shape. Tires wearing out. Drivers up on the wheel, elbows up. You watch them as they work their cars off turn 4. There isn't a single car that comes off turn 4 squarely and points down the front straightaway without stepping out sideways.
Yeah, they've used them up for sure, and at the pace that we're going, don't know that they're going to get the opportunity to put new rubber on these guys.
There's Ryan Preece in the 3, who was up front early, as slid back to 18th with that right front tire, and then went down. Eric Goodale, the race leader, though, is in heavy lap traffic. Working around now Bobby Santos and Justin Bonsignor, who's back in 13th, about ready to go a second lap down. As Goodale around Bobby Santos, there is Silk directly ahead. And Justin Bonsignor, the 51, not the day that we expected out of a 12-time Thompson winner.
Yeah, coming in with so much momentum to this race and just not able to get it going here this afternoon. And unbelievable to think that he's getting set to, or just has gone down yet another lap.
Ryan Stone, and that crew chief of that 51, was a little bit concerned as to what they were going to have coming into the race today. He thought that they were going to be quick. He thought that they had the right setup in it. But he said you never know what will happen at Thompson. And this team, although a 13th place run, would not have expected them to go 2 laps down at this point in the race, as Eric Goodale is absolutely putting on a clinic here with now 22 laps to go in the Phoenix Communications 150, and he has no sign of letting up. Here is Kyle Bonsignor now, battling for the 4th spot, working underneath Doug Kobe, trying to bring Patrick Emmerling right along with him.
That's a great battle for sure. Kobe, who had such a big lead just before the halfway mark of this thing, begins to fade. He too with handling issues. John McKennedy able to get around him right now.
McKennedy picks up another spot to distance himself a little bit further from Ronnie Silk. Now 2 cars separate those 2 race cars. Patrick Emmerling directly ahead of John McKennedy as he tries to get back ahead.
20 laps to go. And we can talk about Goodale on a torrid pace. Here's Patrick Emmerling, who's really picked things up in the second half of this race. Emmerling running in the 5th spot and taking John McKennedy with him.
Now to add some drama to this race, the fuel mileage deal could come into factor here today. Typically with these NASCAR modifieds at Thompson, you need about 15 laps of caution to be able to make it the whole way on fuel. And we did not have that here today. Only 1 caution. It's been green the rest of the way with 18 laps to go. Do these race cars have enough fuel to go the entire way?
This will make it interesting for sure. One guy that's been using a lot of fuel is our leader, Eric Goodale, because he has been on a tear. He maintains that 6-second lead. And Mike Christopher just not able to close in at all.
You look at the lap times, you compare to what they ran in qualifying. Eric Goodale's running around this racetrack at 20.5 seconds. They qualified in the 19.5-second range. So they have certainly backed off the pace, and they've done that for a little while. There's a look at Jason Shepard, the crew chief of Eric Goodale, on pins and needles. Did Jason put enough fuel inside that 58 car to make it another 15 laps around? Taking a look at the timing and scoring, eyeing the competition. Eric Eric Goodale has really had a banner season this year. He's had strong runs about everywhere we've gone. 4 top 5s, 9 top 10s this season for Eric Goodale. They just needed a quality effort, a quality run. That's what the team said before the race. He's got that today, but the question is, does he have enough fuel to make it to the finish with 14 left?
Yeah, we talked at the top of the show about how he was a dark horse in the championship standings, only 22 out of the lead. And if he can stay where he is right now, he'll gain in that battle for the championship.
He is back to pace off some more. He put Doug Coby a lap down in the 7th spot. Goodale lifting at the flag stand as they go down into turn number 1. Another 10th and a half slower that time through. 20.6 seconds a lap time. Mike Christopher Jr. behind him. He's going even slower. He's back in the 20.7 second range as they continue to backpedal. Not a typical race where fuel mileage comes into a factor in a Whelen Modified Tour race, but that appears to be how this is playing out here today.
A lot of crew chiefs holding their breath down there on pit road. Again, they can calculate all they want, but at this point, it's hard to say, hard to predict how this one is going to end. Coming up with just about 11 laps to go.
Christopher eases it onto the main straightaway, and Goodale, we're watching the lap times, has slowed down nearly 21 seconds a lap now for Goodale. He still has a 6.6 second advantage, now 11 laps to go. Christopher, what is his game plan? Does he push and try to run down the slowing Eric Goodale, or does he try to stay to his strategy? Remember his crew chief, Tommy Baldwin, this year was a crew chief for cars in the NASCAR Cup Series, former Daytona 500 championship winning crew chief. He's been at this game before. Will that experience play into what Mike Christopher Jr. does in trying to track down the race leader while conserving enough fuel to get to the finish?
No one could have predicted this for sure, particularly at the start. They all were trying to go as strong as possible, thinking they would have had service on pit road long before now, but continue to click off the laps.
8 to go this time by. Christopher continues to slow. Both cars backing it off. Goodale literally running around at about 3/4 throttle when he comes down the front straightaway. You can hear the car not up to full song, but you see the gap. At the line is Eric Goodale. Through the middle of turns 3 and 4 is Mike Christopher Jr. Now 7 to go as he came across that time by. You can even see Goodale not running as high off the turns. He's been on the bottom just about all race long anyway, but he enters in low, runs the bottom, trying to make this track as short as possible as he tries to make it to the finish. Look at Goodale. Is it 5/8 mile or is it less? Trying to cut every corner he can. Still maintaining now a 5.1 second advantage. Mike Christopher is closing, but only 5 to go at the line.
5 to go, and with each time they come out of the turn and step on the throttle, they hope that something's going to be there. They hope the car is going to respond. As slow as some of these guys are right now, they're just hoping and praying they can make it to the end, as we've got less than 5 laps to go.
Lap traffic up ahead for Eric Goodale as he comes up off turn number 4. 4 to go this time. Just over 2 miles to go for Goodale. Car floats up a little bit in the middle. The car's up ahead. He's running about their pace as they cruise down the back straightaway, doing everything he can to survive and make it to the finish.
3 to go.
All the lap cars at the bottom, slow, off the pace, as Goodale works to the top groove of the racetrack, trying to go by the pole sitter, Ronnie Williams, and he gets the job done into turn 3. Eric Goodale will see 2 laps to go this time through.
Again, the lap traffic moving out of the way, allowing him to get around and keep that pace that he has, which is certainly not what we would normally say a winning pace for sure.
Eric Goodale at a snail's pace, 21.3 seconds the time. Jason Shepard on pins and needles. White flag is out. Eric Goodale down into turn number 1 for the final time.
definitely on fumes as he works out of turn 2 and down the backstretch. Hoping that he's got enough to even just coast back to the start-finish line as the checkered flag's about to go in the air.
Off turn number 4, Eric Goodale can coast from here, but for the 5th time, Eric Goodale wins a NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour race using a fuel mileage strategy. Mike Christopher Jr. will come across in second. Anthony Nocella, Patrick Emmerling, and Kyle Bonsignor round out the top 5. John McKennedy, Kyle Soper, Doug Coby, and Ronnie Silk will finish 9th. John McKennedy will extend his championship lead. Ronnie Silk was 9th, 14th for Justin Bonsignor. And how about that? Eric Goodale notches his 5th career Whelen Modified Tour victory here at the Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. In dramatic fashion, having to back his way in on a fuel mileage win to be able to get it done here at Thompson. And he drove the wheels off it from the 13th starting spot to capture the victory in the Phoenix Communications 150.
Yeah, we'll have to see whether some of these cars even have enough fuel to get back to the pit area, but they'll note that in their notes of the race today. All of the crews will, about what they got for fuel mileage here, going 150 laps at Thompson Speedway.
So Eric Goodale, runner-up the last time we were here in August, and he will drive it down into victory lane here in the Phoenix Communications 150. Victorious here at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. What a drive for the driver out of Long Island, Riverhead, New York. Jason Shepard, the entire family team, put the right setup in this race car, both in speed and in fuel mileage, and it paid off here today, as he is crowned now a World Series champion here at the Sunoco World Series of Speedway Racing, a crown jewel event on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour schedule.
How about the other two in the podium finish? Mike Christopher Jr. has had a great weekend here at World Series at Thompson, and Anthony Nocella comes in for 3rd.
Two talented drivers on the series, rounding out the podium, as you mentioned. Mike Christopher Jr., another solid run. And that'll help that team towards the owner championship, for Mike Christopher Jr. and Tommy Baldwin's team as they head to the last race of the season at the end of the month at the Martinsville Speedway in Virginia. And Anthony Nocella continuing to prove his prowess behind an open wheel modified race car. The man of the hour, though, Eric Goodale. There was no denying that number 58 here today. And he was outstanding throughout the entire 150-lap race. Aggressive on the wheel. And race fans, your winner today, Eric Goodale. Let's go down trackside to victory lane and hear from our winner.
Where's my dad?
Eric Goodale finally gets back to NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour victory lane and does it here at Thompson Speedway Motorsports Park. Must have been a little stressful there at the end with the fuel mileage concerns, but man, you guys are a rocket ship. Lapping all the way up to 5th place is pretty dang impressive.
Yeah, I mean, we got caught up in that early accident, spin back there, and I was contemplating pitting. I didn't like the way the car was handling. We were so tight. Jason said we're staying out, and just bought my time. We've had the same type of car all weekend here, and we've had a long-run car, and I didn't even know what place I was passing up to until they told me the 10 was the leader, and I got up to him. So, man, my guys, all week, we ran 3 races here. We have 3 top 5s, and it's a damn good feeling. Thompson Speedway, I've been racing here, SKs, since I've been 20 years old and have never won here. So this one's for my dad, man. He wanted this racetrack more than anything, so it is freaking awesome.
You guys have had an up and down year overall, but you've been pretty good overall. I mean, the summer was a little bit of a struggle at times, but this is going to feel great as you get down to the end. And then going back to Martinsville, where you won last time with that clock.
Yeah, I know my team's busted my balls about the Martinsville clock, so we're going to go down there and we're going to try to repeat. The goal was to come here and try to gain max points. I think we succeeded in that, so just my guys right here, I didn't even have to rely on them to pick up positions. Usually I give them away on restarts, so I was praying for no late race caution there at the end.
All right, Eric Goodale back in NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour victory lane. He wins the Sunoco World Series 150.
Well, we came into today's race with 3 championship contenders, and I think we're going to leave with 4 championship contenders. Eric Goodale came into the championship standings 4th of this race, and all of a sudden he has put himself right in the thick of the championship battle. As Kyle alluded to, down in Victory Lane, a former winner at Martinsville when the tour goes there on Thursday night, October 27th, to crown the 2022 Whelen Modified Tour champion, and still 4 drivers in the championship fight. That is going to be fun. Smiles all around for Eric Goodale and that entire Riverhead Building Supply team to be able to capture the win here today. And boy, nothing more special than winning here at Thompson with all the tradition and the 150th Whelen Modified Tour race at this racetrack carries a lot of weight with it as well. Let's go back down and hear from our second place finisher, Mike Christopher Jr.
Mike Christopher Jr. comes home second, the Sunoco World Series 150. Man, the fuel mileage seemed to be an issue there at the end. You guys are pretty far behind Eric, but you passed a lot of cars there in the middle portion of the race to get yourself up to finish second.
Yeah, I definitely didn't expect the race to go green and checkered like that. Well, after that yellow. Just got shuffled back in the beginning there, but just like Jennerstown, just picking cars off, as the race went. Turns out it went all the way to the end, but, a solid run. I knew it would be a good car because, Tommy stuff's always good. So just thank you to the team. I think we got Tommy his owner's championship, so that's pretty awesome to be a part of that, along with all the other drivers. Doug did a great job, and same with Jimmy. So, this team put it all together this year, and I couldn't be more happy to do it for Tommy.
I mean, you run this car a couple of times this year. You ran here a lot this weekend, but this is going to be one of the top moments of your career. Come out here and be part of this with him. We talked a couple weeks ago about how special it was to drive for him, and to help him accomplish this year is going to be special.
Yeah, it is. I started the year at New Smyrna, and we had a great run, and then I had Jennerstown on the list, and we got the win there, and Doug had wins before that, and it all just added up, and great finishes throughout the whole year. So yeah, it feels good to get it done for him, and just happy to be in this car again for the NASCAR Tour. I also got to give it up to Stewart's Automotive, Greg Narducci from the Florida Connection, Mohawk Northeast, really anybody that helps me get to this point. Thank you to them, and congrats to Tommy.
All right, Mike Christopher Jr. finishes second today in the Tommy Baldwin 7NY.
Great talent to join the Whelen Modified Tour this season. Runner-up finish for Mike Christopher Jr. And the 3 drivers that landed on the podium here tonight certainly did a great job at managing the race, managing tires in that long green flag stretch, fuel at the end. Eric Goodale, Mike Christopher Jr., Anthony Nocella, strong runs. And the Phoenix Communications 150 here today. And certainly a lot for those drivers to be proud of as they roll out of here and head on down the road to the next event on tour. Speaking of that, let's send it down trackside and hear from our third place finisher. Kyle Souza is with Anthony Nocella.
Anthony Nocella passed a lot of cars in the second half of that race. I'm sure you didn't expect it to go green for that one, but it worked out pretty well for you to get up to third.
Yeah, it definitely worked out. We struggled all weekend. I got to thank all my guys for working hard. We changed the whole setup, every shock spring, about 4 times. Once right before the race again, and it worked out pretty good. We were a little off at the beginning. We got lucky. We got that first yellow, came in, made an adjustment, and woke the car halfway. I was hoping it would stay green because I knew we had a pretty good car in the long run, and some guys were fading. So yeah, it definitely worked out in our favor, and happy to run up front here and come out of here with a little momentum after.
World Series 150 behind the wheel of the 92.
So good solid finish for Anthony Nocella. We came in to the event talking about the championship point battle. As I mentioned, we came in with 3 contenders, and with Eric Goodale's win, I think we'll leave with 4 coming out of the race today. But John McKennedy maintains the championship lead, finishes 6th. Ronnie Silk was 9th. Justin Bonsignor didn't have the day they expected, came home 14th, but it's going to create for a lot of drama when we go to Martinsville here at the end of the month.
Drama. We thought it couldn't get any more drama. It did towards the end of this race on the fuel mileage, as we saw Eric Goodale really be strong here today and take that checkered flag for the win.
Eric Goodale capturing victory, his 5th Whelen Modified Tour win of his career. The entire team celebrated down on pit road. They put the setup underneath him that led to this moment. Eric Goodale winning the Phoenix Communications 150 at Thompson Speedway.